Now, why is this important to know? Well, because you can help yourself, okay? Because you can get rid of a lot of these things once you're aware that it's your subconscious, okay, that provides your manifestation. Okay, a lot of people think it's, witchcraft and some kind of magic kind of thing. No, it's your subconscious, okay? So through your subconscious conditioning, okay, you can experience fear, anxiety, all of those things, okay? Whatever it is, however you are, is a culmination of everything that you believe to be true in your subconscious. Okay, so we've been talking about this since last April. It's almost been a year now. Okay, so on the live today, but we're going to talk about the voice now. What is the voice? How does the voice do this? Okay, well, it activates the vagus nerve. Now, the vagus nerve is one of your 12 cranial nerves. Okay, the 12 cranial nerves, or the 12 apostles. Okay, so this has an esoteric connection. Okay, a lot of religious people aren't aware of these things, but the Holy Bible is the manual. Okay, the the operator's manual for this one. Okay, because you're not your body, you're not your name. Okay, you're that spirit that lives in here, that energy that lives in here. Okay, but when you become anxious, okay, when you become full of anxiety, okay, you're not thinking clearly. You're not making clear decisions, or let's say it another way. You're not making decisions based in clarity. Okay? You're making decisions based in fear. Okay? What do we call that? We call it survival mode. Why? Because human beings are engineered to survive. That's why you have an amygdala that starts to give you all the negative what ifs when you get that first negative thought and you think it for more than 6 seconds. Okay, so you have 6 seconds to dismiss that thought. You have 6 seconds to say stop and refocus. Okay, and good morning, Vincent. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Bella. Good morning. And one of my clients that joins us on the chat here. We have a chat. We're on 7 platforms. Sorry, 7 platforms worldwide every morning. And one of my clients, was telling me like, wow, like this is a whole new world, and she was unaware. And she was a nurse by profession. Okay, so she's a retired nurse and had no idea how this works. Okay, because nurses aren't taught this. Okay, and this is why I tell you about education. Okay, education is for what you are going to pursue, the career you're going to pursue. Okay, they don't teach it. This is not common knowledge. Okay, this is not everyday common knowledge. So when the average person hears about this, or let's say the average professional hears about this, okay, I teach this to my CEOs, I teach this to my attorneys, I teach this to my medical professionals, and then they go, oh, okay, right? And in the beginning, it's like they have this blank look, right? In the beginning, they have the, oh, okay, right? When they get into it, like let's say 4 sessions in, 3 sessions actually, they get 3 sessions in, and they go, oh yeah, okay, and they don't know how to describe what's happening to them. Now, everything is mental, spiritual, physical in the way of learning, in the way of healing, okay? Because you have to approach it on all 3 levels: mental, spiritual, and physical. Okay, for example, I had this psychiatrist, which was really fun, and I thought I was going to get something profound and, some extra knowledge from him, right? And on the 4th session, I said, okay, doc, how do you feel? What, what's going on? Do you notice? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I can't put my finger on it, but yeah, I feel it. And this was a psychiatrist. This is a guy who has studied the brain, who's, he's the brain guy. He gives medicine to people if they can't think right or whatever, right? Disorders, medical disorders, legitimate medical disorders. And he couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, interesting, okay? But like I said, okay, unless you are like, trained in this specialty or you have experience with this specialty, it's nothing that mainstream education will focus on and teach you. Okay, good morning, guys. But a lot of people are filled with anxiety and they don't know how to get rid of it. Okay. How many of you guys, good morning, guys. How many of you are suffering from anxiety or have anxiety problems? Just put it up in the chat. Okay. So, what we're really talking about is one of the 12 cranial nerves. Okay. It's called the vagus nerve. Okay. It's VAGUS. Okay. Not like Las Vegas. Okay. The other day when I was talking, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about left brain, right brain, and somebody thought I was talking about politics. No, I'm talking about the hemispheres of your brain. Okay, so Vegas. I'm not talking about Las Vegas nerve. I'm talking about your vagus nerve. Okay, it's the longest cranial nerve. It comes down. It goes through your throat. Okay, throat chakra for you spiritual people. Okay, goes into your heart chakra. Okay, and then fans out in your lower body, your lower abdomen. Okay, goes into your intestines, that kind of thing. Okay, and the vagus nerve is responsible for physiological. Oh, Miss Sunshine, okay? Yeah, we're gonna. Good morning, Jay. Good morning. We're gonna talk about that. So you're gonna be, yeah. Miss Sunshine is one of our regulars. So I'm glad you're here. You're gonna pick up some valuable information today. Okay, so the vagus nerve runs all the way down like that. Okay, it fans out on the bottom. Okay, but it goes directly through your throat. And why is that important? It's because when you stimulate the vagus nerve, you can look this up. Okay, you can do your research. Fact check me. I love it when people fact check me. Okay, so the vagus nerve, okay, when it's stimulated, it starts to relax your body. It's called somatic healing. You can look that up. However, I have to tell you that there's a difference between what I do and the somatic healing described online or by definition. Okay, so and the thing is that when I do it, okay, we use velocity or wind strength. Okay, force. We generate a lot of force from your diaphragm up to open the throat chakra, because your throat chakra has to open. Okay, now the sound is being created by your vocal cords or your vocal folds. That's another name for it, vocal folds. Okay, now when this happens, the vagus nerve is stimulated because it runs right through your throat. Okay, and your voice is coming up through your throat. Okay, your vocal cords are in here. Okay, we work on two sets of muscles. Okay, one is the diaphragm, the other one is the pharyngeal group in the back of your throat. Why is this important? Because it creates pressure. The stronger these muscles get, okay, the more it controls the air that's being pushed up. Okay, and you cannot have effective throat chakra openings without a strong diaphragm, because you need the pressure. Why do you need the pressure? Why is this important? Because your neurotransmitters under that pressure, okay, with energy, frequency, and vibration, okay, the same things that Nikola Tesla told you to understand the universe by, with those three things, okay, affecting the vagus nerve, causes your neurotransmitters, okay, this is, just follow me, it gets a little, I'm trying not to make it so technical, but has your neurotransmitters fire oxytocin and endorphins, hormones that flood your brain. Okay, and we go all the way up, we go very, very high. Okay, and what happens is, as your brain gets flooded, you feel better. Why? Well, because endorphins are the feel-good hormone. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone. Okay, we'll get into those things later. Okay, but the vagus nerve, when activated, starts to relax your body. Why is that important? It relaxes the parasympathetic nervous system. That's where trauma is stored. That's where anxiety is stored. Because you feel these things. Okay, it affects your central nervous system. Your parasympathetic nervous system, to be exact. Okay, not woo-woo. Once you learn it, it's like vibrating those feelings out. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning. That's Janice. Janice has been through my program. She's there. Hi, Janice. So Dakota on the chat. Yeah, say hi to Janice. Janice, Miss Sunshine is also in the position that you were in. So, yeah. Maybe you want to talk to her about it, share, get to know each other on the chat. Okay, so So this is the process, right? And years ago, I stumbled upon this process by accident. I wish I could say I discovered it. I wish I could say I invented it. No, this was discovered in the 40s. Okay, why hasn't it been done? Because you have mainstream medical industrial complexes in place. Okay, you have medical systems in place. Okay, so they use medicine for these things. Okay, and they medicate children like right away. Like, oh, this, okay, diagnose this. Okay, here, take Adderall, take Ritalin, take, whatever they give, whatever. Okay. So I have ADHD. Okay, and when I was a kid, right, they gave me Ritalin, right, and then after a while, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I didn't do it. Okay, later on in life, I found this by accident, and we went through the accidental phase of this for years. And in 2007, I did the research because I'm like, how are these people so confident? What's going on? To me, it didn't make any logical sense because, well, they're just singing, right? But it wasn't the singing, it was the exercise we were doing. Okay, it was the pressure that was activating the hormones that was creating the confidence. Why? Because confidence is a relaxed, inner centered feeling. Okay? Confidence, if you're getting triggered, if you have knee jerk reactions to things, okay, you're not confident inside. You may be confident outside. It's not related to things like dancing. Okay, you're a good dancer. Okay, that's committed to your subconscious. Are you good at archery? Okay, that's committed to your subconscious. Guess what else is committed to your subconscious? Relaxation. Okay, relaxation. Relaxation is the opposite of anxiety, stress. Okay, stress causes anxiety. Stress kills people. Okay, stress unalives people. Okay, that happens. A lot of people feel cornered. A lot of people feel like, I don't know what to do. Okay, I have this one client right now, and he's in Arkansas. And I have clients in North America. I have clients in the UK. In fact, Janice is in Denver, and she was my client. Manuel, good morning. Good morning, Manuel. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Summer. Good morning. So the thing about, and Janice got over her anxiety, and it broke her out of prison. The prison is here. Okay, it broke her out of prison. She did 8 weeks. Okay, my program is 12 weeks. She did 8 weeks, and in 8 weeks, she was like, wow, I get it. Okay, I'm good. So it doesn't always take 12 weeks, but 12 weeks is ideal. Okay. But she's so different now. Like, complete reversal. Why? Because in here, you're good. Okay. In here, okay, without the stress, without the negative emotions, stress, anxiety, fear, okay, all of that. Without all those negative emotions, you're 100%. And then clarity happens. And when clarity happens, what happens? Better decisions. What happens with better decisions? Better outcomes. Hello? Right? Okay. But it's not that simple. Why? Well, because you have an amygdala, number one. Okay. Number two, you have a reticular activating system in your brainstem. Okay. What does that do? That filters in what you're focused on, filters out what you're not focused on. And this is how manifestation happens. It's not some kind of witchcraft special thing where you wish for a brand new car and it pops up in your driveway. It doesn't do that. That's not how it happens. But it does happen through focus, applied focus. What you focus on, you get more of automatically through your subconscious. Okay? So your amygdala and your reticular activating system, along with your subconscious, starts to put you on autopilot, either in a good direction or a bad direction. And you have to choose. Okay, but first you have to get out of the old directions, the old programming, the old subconscious programming. How do you do that? The vocalization exercise with the vagus nerve. That's what we're talking about today. Okay? So this stimulation that happens with the vagus nerve, okay, supports your parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, and what happens when that happens? Physiological relaxation. It relaxes the body, okay, because it relaxes the nervous system. Now you can separate, okay, you can separate the anxiety and become the observer. And when that happens, you go, oh yeah, I see the difference. See, Janice sees the difference. Okay, so Janice is aware now. Okay, but when you're in it, it's very difficult. When you're suffering from anxiety every day, when you're in the wash, rinse, repeat, okay, that's how the subconscious does things. It learns in repetition. Okay, so today you wake up, you have a negative thought. Okay, in 6 seconds, the amygdala starts to react. Okay, it starts getting activated. What does it do? It gives you more what if thoughts. And all those what ifs are rooted in negativity. And that's the topic, the thought. Okay, let's say you're worried about the economy. Okay, you're worried about the economy. You saw the report on the stock market. Okay, it doesn't look good. Stock market's down. Okay, now after 6 seconds, your amygdala goes, what if I lose my job? What if I can't pay my car loan? What if I don't have money? What if, what if, what if, what if, what if? And all the negative what ifs are rooted in fear now concerning the topic, because the topic was fearful, because the topic was negative. So now your amygdala is presenting you with all these ideas, and they're all centered around negativity, only because the first thought was negative. Now what happens? Well, your reticular activating system in your brainstem, okay, it starts to filter in what you're focused on and filter out what you're not focused on. So it starts going, hey, look, there's evidence of economic failure. Hey, look, there's evidence of, stock market went down again. Oh, this is a result of the stock market going down. Whatever. I'm just saying. Okay? Now it's filtered in. Now it becomes a belief where in your subconscious. Why? Because now it's going in repetition. Okay, what happens with the amygdala? Well, generally when you have that first negative thought and it serves up a bunch of what ifs that are negative, you think about one of those what ifs. Okay. So let's say, for example, stock market's going down. The amygdala gets activated. Maybe one of those thoughts are, what's going to happen to the interest rates? Whatever. Okay. Now you grab one of those thoughts. And now the topic is interest rates being negatively affected. And now what happens? After 6 seconds, the amygdala will serve up another bunch of what ifs concerning that. And people go from negative thought to negative thought, from fear to fear to fear, from anxiety to anxiety to anxiety. And it's a chain reaction. And because the subconscious learns in repetition, it repeats over and over. The subconscious will will create avenues, okay, looking to get you from where you are to that goal, which is now negative, which is now anxiety, which is not, well, things that concern anxiety, that give you anxiety, okay? But the topics are all that. And now your subconscious looks for evidence of it. And it repeats over and over and over and over. In my book here, The Universal Law of Attraction and Singing, okay? I don't normally plug the book, but I'm just going to mention that in this book, there's stories of real people. Okay, this one lady, her husband died in her arms 2 months after her marriage in a boating accident in the water. She came to me literally shaking like this, okay, on Xanax and other things. In 9 months, she was off all of her meds. Her hands were steady. And her business was flourishing. Why? Because now she could focus on the business. Now she could focus. Okay, but there's tons of people. This is not about how to sing. Okay, I know the title is a little deceiving, but the key is the universal law of attraction and singing. It's what your voice does with the law of attraction. Because once you're clear, okay, once you're calm, once you don't have anxiety, everything that is for you comes to you automatically. Why? Because God is real. Because God lives in here. Okay, Jesus Christ told you the kingdom is within. But you need to clear the kingdom. You can't have the kingdom littered with anxiety and fear. Okay, because all the negative emotions are rooted in fear. Anxiety is rooted in fear. When you're anxious, it's a small undercurrent of fear. Okay, that's what's going on. Okay, so anyway, it's on Amazon. It's been selling since 2016. Okay, it's been a blessing to offer this to people, because people have actually picked this up and read, oh yeah, it's not just me. Oh, they did that, and it's described in here, and you can do it too. Another book that I think that is really relevant. I don't get anything for plugging books, okay? I don't get anything from this book, but this is a good book for you to read, okay? Because it tells you about the subconscious mind. If you're a Christian, there's a lot of Christian references in here, a lot of biblical references in here, okay? Because if you know how to understand the Bible, if you know the esoteric knowledge behind the stories, and you're not just focused on the stories. Okay, a lot of people go to church every Sunday and focus on stories, okay, and they miss the whole thing. They never get it, but they donate a lot of money because, don't get me started on 501c3 churches. But this is about how your subconscious works, and it's explained pretty simply for the everyday person, okay? And there's biblical references, and then you go, oh, that's what it meant in the Bible. When it says Jesus knows your heart, or God knows your heart. When it says God knows your heart, what is it talking about? It's talking about your subconscious. Why? What is your subconscious? What is your heart? Your heart is what you believe to be true. So your subconscious tree, right? The roots are your core beliefs, what you believe to be true. Okay? That forms your paradigm. Your paradigm is the trunk of the tree. How you see the world, your worldview, your attitude, okay? If it's positive, negative, indifferent, whatever, okay? And then the fruits of the tree are your actions. Your actions bring what? Results. So you got to change the roots so that it forms the trunk of the tree properly or conducive to your goals. Now, when you have anxiety, you have anxious beliefs. You have fearful beliefs. Okay? You are fearing at the roots. And like I said, it's a small undercurrent of fear. And then what happens? Well, you become anxious when you're reminded of fearful things. And what does the reticular activating system do? It filters in fearful things when there's roots that are fearing subtly. Okay. So let me give you an example. When was the last time you were in the market for a car or some kind of product? Okay. If you're online, it's different. Okay. If you're online, there's an algorithm. If you're online and you're searching for something, it will feed you more of that. The algorithm does that. Okay. But you have your own algorithm. It's called a reticular activating system. So let's say you're interested in a red Corvette. You've probably heard this story before. Okay. You're interested in the red Corvette. Your mind is on the red Corvette. Your subconscious believes you're looking for a red Corvette. Your reticular activating system in your brainstem filters in red Corvette. Now when you're driving around, you go, hey, there's a red Corvette over there. Or hey, there's a red Corvette over there. Sometimes it's like, it's not a red Corvette, it's a Corvette. Well, wow, I didn't know there were so many Corvettes in this town. It's because you didn't notice. There's a lot of things you don't notice because there's so many things. Okay? So your reticular activating system is very useful for manifestation. But when it's in fear, when it's anxious, when it's in anxiety, you're living in anxiety. And now it's going to show you anxious things. If you're focused on a Corvette, it's going to show you more Corvettes. Whatever you're focused on. So it works for positive and negative. And this is why Henry Ford, when Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way you're correct. Because you are, either way. So nothing is necessarily right or wrong by definition in the positive and negative, whatever you want or whatever you don't want. It's not it's not so much the judgmental thing, but there is good and bad. There is positive and negative. When you become negative, or let's say you start thinking negative thoughts and you allow it, what happens? Well, your subconscious gets a hold of it. It becomes a belief. Your reticular activating system filters in more of it, whatever the topic is, whatever that negative thought is about. It starts bringing you more things to fear. It starts bringing you more things to be anxious about. And all of a sudden, you're stuck in that loop. We talked about the loop yesterday, actually 2 days ago. And it goes wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. And some people don't know why they keep feeling like that. They don't know why they keep getting anxious. Now, if you're online, there's an algorithm that does that for you. Okay, so you're scrolling, okay, you get one of these, okay, and you're scrolling and you go, oh, violence. And then you're scrolling, oh, pretty soon, or maybe it's something that you like. Maybe it's something violent that you, for some reason, hit the like button. Okay, you don't even have to hit the like button for algorithms. They know you're watching it. Okay, they know when you've watched for so many seconds. They know everything. Okay, and then it starts to feed you more and more. Oh, you like that, huh? Okay, here, more. But the human is so intelligent, human being, okay, that you can carry this from here into the physical world. Ooh, how does that happen? Well, first it starts with the algorithm. Now it feeds you more of that, okay, whatever it is. And then now your reticular activating system goes, oh, that's what the focus is? Okay, we'll show you more of that. Your subconscious memorizes it in repetition because it's going on over and over and over and over. Your subconscious, right, it becomes a belief. What does it do? It learns in repetition. It repeats in repetition. So now it's in your subconscious. Now your reticular activating system is focused on whatever you're scrolling on. Now when you put this down and you walk into the real world, your reticular activating system will focus in those things, focus on those things and bring them in. And then you go, wow, I see violence over there. Whoa, I see violence over there. Pretty soon you're convinced my neighborhood is violent. My environment is violent. The world is violent. The world is terrible. And then you go to a therapist to unscramble everything. But the understanding of this, to understand what's really going on, right? Because some people think they're crazy. Oh, anxiety. Oh, I'm anxious. Oh, I don't know what to do. Pretty soon, how does it affect you when you're anxious? Pretty soon, you don't want to do stuff, right? You start to go like this slowly, okay? Because why? Because now I'm going to go like this. I'm going to retreat. I'm going to go into survival mode. Okay, so survival mode is this process of anxiety, of fear. Survival mode, because you're engineered to survive. You're not some delicate little organism. You're a human being. You're a spiritual being. You're very resilient, physically, mentally, and spiritually resilient. And so today we're talking about the voice. You do not know that it is your fear running the show. Yeah. See, Janice, that's my former client, Janice, and she hit it. She nailed it square. You don't know that your fear is running the show. You're not aware that you're stuck in this wash, rinse, repeat. You just know that, man, I just keep seeing more of this stuff, right? Sometimes it's your environment. Okay, humans are very, very susceptible to their environment. And it's not just your location. Okay, I had this girl, this client once. Okay, and I've been through over 7,000 people in 37 years. And this girl was living with her grandmother. That was her environment. Okay, and she was smart, and she was struggling. She wasn't struggling because she wasn't smart, because she didn't have, there were no opportunities, that, like everything was wrong. She wasn't suffering from that. It was what she was being made to think in her grandmother's house. And I told her, I said, Hoku, you're so smart. You need to go on your own. You need to get out. You need to change your environment. And it took a few months because, right, people are like that. And there's not always the means, okay? But there is affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. If you use all four pillars aimed at one thing, it has to happen because of your perception. Because everything is about the glass half full and the glass half empty. And if the glass is half empty, you need to look for the glass half full side, and it starts to change like this. But if you're stuck, if you're convinced about your negativity, if you're convinced, right, that your negative thoughts are your reality, okay, then the amygdala serves up more, then right, you filter in more, your subconscious goes, okay, more. You don't know. That's what Janice was talking about. You cannot see that the fear, your fear, is running the show. You cannot see that you're stuck in it. Okay? Now, if you want to call this good and evil, because there is a battle for good and evil. What am I talking about? We took a sharp left turn right there, right? There are things in society, and I'm not going to go into detail because we have algorithms to deal with, but there are things, and I'll discuss this with you privately. There are things in society that deliberately make you fear on purpose. Why is that? Well, because if you can be kept in fear, you can be controlled. Think about that. So your life path unfolds from within. Life happens for you, okay? It doesn't happen to you. If you think life is happening to you, okay, that's victim mentality. How is victim mentality created? It's created when your perception is that, oh, this happened to me, this happened, this happened, this happened. And everything that happened has consequences. Every event, right? And every action creates an outcome. And when you're experiencing this negativity, when you're experiencing it, and then all of a sudden your subconscious and, right, amygdala, reticular activating system is creating more for you, okay, because it's a self-generating system. That's how intelligent you are. You're a good thinker. I don't care who you are. People go, oh God, yeah, I'm not good. No, you're just suffering from anxiety. Okay, you're suffering from fear. Okay, all negative emotions are rooted in fear. Disappointment, doubt, worry, frustration, irritation, all of that. Distraction. Are you being distracted? There are things that are deliberately distracting you in the name of commerce, in the name of capitalism, in the name of merchandising, marketing. Is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. Because there are people who can differentiate. There are people who can control it. Why? Because they have the switch. When you are too much, let's say when imbalance happens and you're too much into fear, and then like Janice said, fear is running the show, everything leans towards fearful things. And your system is now geared for survival. Okay? It's there to protect you against negative things. But the focus will become negative things. Why? So you can avoid whatever it is that's negative. But when it becomes a cycle, okay, when it becomes that loop, that negativity loop, then what happens? Then that's your experience. Then you're having a bad life. Why? Because you're always in fear, you're living in fear, you're living with anxiety, and you don't know how to get rid of it. So what we do with the voice, with the vagus nerve, is we have people. Just yesterday I had this client, right? And she takes half an hour because she can't afford 1 hour classes. Okay. And it's a 12-week program. And so I said last week, I said, you know what, next week I'll give you an hour. Okay. And we give a lot. It's part of I know it's gonna sound crazy to business people, okay? But it's part of my business model to give. And we give a lot. We always have. It from day one, it's always been that way because I was so grateful to have my own business that I decided, okay, let's put this as part of our thing, right? So people that cannot afford, we give. Okay. And we give so much, and it depends on the dynamics. It depends, whatever. But I really felt for this girl because she was very doubtful. Okay, she was kind of like, well, I don't know. Yeah, I do feel the confidence. Yeah, I do feel this, but she was like that, right? I don't blame her. She's been in that cycle. She's been through trauma. Okay, trauma reoccurs if your triggers are out of control. If you get triggered easily. Okay, medicine just dulls the effect. It just, okay, oh, you feel good now. You're not triggered now. No, it doesn't feel good now. But the medicine is doing that. Okay. So yesterday I put her through an hour. It's a workout. Okay. It's a workout. It's like CrossFit for your voice. Okay. For life coaching purposes, it's CrossFit for your vagus nerve. It's CrossFit for vagus nerve activation. Look that up. Vagus nerve activation. Now, it'll tell you, when you look it up, it'll tell you, oh, it's humming and it's singing and it's chanting, those things, right? This is high velocity tones that we're doing with strength. Okay, it's like listening to an opera singer. Okay, but we start very low and we go as high as they can possibly go. We give them a panting exercise, which is accelerated breathing. What does accelerated breathing do? Well, it starts to relax the frontal lobe of your brain, your processor, okay, where the overthinking happens. What happens when that's relaxed? You become open, you become more receptive. Then we do the vagus nerve activation. This is very scientific, and all the findings, all the medical research, all the white papers, which is what white papers are medical research. All the research is on the website, hereforyoulifecoaching.com. So you can read the research for yourself. Okay, I'm not here for you to believe me. I'm not here for you to trust me. But I am here to spread the news because I've been doing this for 37 years, and so many people are unaware of it. And now, in the age of Aquarius, okay, whoa, you went age of Aquarius? Yeah, we're in a different age. The truth is coming out about a lot of things, okay? And the truth of the matter is that if you knew about this stuff and if you practiced this stuff, like Janice, she's been broken free of this stuff. She'll always be able to handle it now because she's aware, because she's been broken out, because she has seen the truth and the truth has set her free. She'll never have to go back. She'll never be consumed by it again. So the beauty of all of this is once you've been pulled out, you never need to go back. Do things get spooky again? If you let it. But now, okay, like Janice said, you don't know that fear is running the show. But now when you're aware, when you become aware, oh yeah, it is the fear that's running the show. then you can eliminate it when it first happens. I'm so happy and grateful. The awareness, the know, changes your perception. Yes, Janice, thank you. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And Janice will be able to help her friends in anxiety. She'll be able to clue them in or whatever. Maybe refer some people to me. I don't know. But that's not why I'm here. Okay, I'm here to spread the knowledge. I'm here to spread the information so that you look it up for yourself. Okay? So, in this support of the parasympathetic nervous system through the vagus nerve activation or stimulation, okay, you begin to relax. Breathing starts getting deeper, okay, and slower. Why? Because everybody breathes shallow, right? Shallow breathing. Okay, what does everybody tell you for yoga, for martial arts, for everything? Breathe deep. Okay, breathe deep. Yesterday we went over some of the breathing. So there's clavicular breathing, intercostal breathing, there's box breathing, there's all kinds of breathing, okay? Intercostal is the one you should be doing. Look it up. Okay? Because intercostal breathing is breathing from where your lungs are. So you don't do this. So you don't breathe like that. Okay? Yesterday we went over it. We're not going to go over it today. Okay? So there's a couple of things that we didn't go over enough yesterday. I'm looking through my notes. Okay? Reduced miscommunication in things. How does that happen? When you find your voice, you find yourself. Okay? Yourself is the spirit in here, this energy in here. The kingdom is within. Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. Gautama Buddha said the same thing in a different way. Krishna said the same thing in a different way. Going all the way back to, in the Zoroastrian religion, they said the same thing. Everybody's always said the same thing. But how do you access this? Well, if people that were making you fearful, in control, wanted you to have this knowledge, the control wouldn't be all that great, would it? And like I said, there are, and I'm not going to get into this side of it, but there are entities. Let's just say entities. Okay, religion is one of them. But there are entities out there that deliberately scare you so that your life path slows down, so that your life path is controllable. Okay? Because why? Because when you're in fear, it's like taking a PlayStation controller and go, here, you operate me. When you care about what somebody else thinks about you, okay, which is what I went with that girl that did an hour yesterday I was talking about. She goes, wow, yeah, like during this session, I really realized it's I shouldn't care about what other people think. Because she was doing her session so strong in her car, because cars are safe spaces. I teach a lot of people in their car. I had this developer. He used to do it in his Tesla. Okay, so I have very, very wealthy people doing this. People from all walks of life doing this. Healing through their voice. Okay? And she said, and because she was singing so strong. She was looking around and she said, what about my neighbors? I said, what about your neighbors? You're in your car. Don't worry about it. But this is how she has always lived, right? What will they think of me? That's like giving the PlayStation controller to somebody else and say, here, you control me. It's up to you, right? Focus on this one. Focus on the kingdom within. That's where the magic is, okay? The magic is the human being. You have been given this life. You have been given this one shot at this life this way. You live one time this way. Do you live again? I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. I have no idea. Do I care? No. Because I know one thing, that energy cannot be extinguished. It can just be transmuted. It's a universal law. Energy changes form. It does not get eliminated. You cannot delete energy out of the universe. Now, whether you want to call this source or God or whatever name you want to put on that, we are all awareness. We are all connected through awareness. The three states of awareness in you, in the kingdom within. However you believe, it doesn't matter. I'm not here to tell you what to believe or how to believe. That's up to you. Okay? But those three are the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious states of awareness. You're consciously aware, okay? And this accounts for 5% of your life. Subconsciously, okay? Automatic pilot, okay? 95% of your life is done there. Automatic. You don't have to learn how to drive the car tomorrow. You don't have to learn how to brush your teeth tomorrow when you wake up. You don't have to learn how to do your job tomorrow all over again when you get to work. It's all committed to your subconscious. You are so highly intelligent. Animals don't have this. Animals don't have the awareness that we have because we can observe ourselves. And that's where the critical stuff starts, right? We observe what we're doing. Okay, we're aware of the right and wrong, good and bad, dark and light, whatever. Okay? And then we start to judge as we go. We start to critique ourselves in motion based upon the things that we've been taught to critique. Then you start thinking thoughts like, I'm not good enough. Yeah, this is good for other people, but not good for me. Do you know how many spiritual people are broke? Spiritual people that are financially and physically bankrupt. Why would that be? Is spirituality wrong? No, not at all. That's the thing. It's the thing. What's the obstacle? What's the blockage? What's the why? What's the wall in the middle of all of that? It's your subconscious. It's your subconscious. You need to believe in this one first. Because God lives in here. Because in here, whether you call it God or Source or Allah or Jesus Christ, whatever you call what's in here, it's your co-creator. Well, you are a co-creator with it. Okay? It's the energy that you are a part of, that you are partners with, that you create with, that you join with to create. What's the obstacles? Doubt and fear all day long. And with fear, you have a plethora of emotions that are all rooted in fear. Here, I have a list. I made a list. Okay, this is a longer list than what I normally read because I went to get the scientific side and like, okay, let's do this in science rather than woo-woo. Okay, so fear would be the ultimate, right? And there's degrees of fear. Okay, but it goes down from disappointment. First, you get disappointed. Is that a negative emotion? Yeah. Doubt, worry, frustration, irritation, anxiety, envy. Okay, it gets worse. It keeps going. Jealousy, resentment, anger, bitterness, sadness, loneliness, guilt, shame, fear, panic, hopelessness, despair, and terror. All negative emotions. I've experienced terror. I've experienced all this stuff. Okay, I've experienced the negative emotions. Did I enjoy it? No. But when you're worried, for example, okay, worry, okay, when you're anxious, you worry a lot. Anxiety produces worry. Anxiety is the core foundation of worry. And what is worry? Worry is like praying for something bad to happen. Why? Because your thoughts are negative. Your thoughts give you anxiety. Your thoughts in worry are not about good stuff. You're not worried that you're gonna get $100,000 in some rich uncle's will tomorrow. No. You're worried about the bad stuff that's gonna happen. So what is the focus? The negativity becomes the focus. And what does the subconscious do? It repeats it. What does the reticular activating system do? it filters in more of it. What does the amygdala do? It gives you more what ifs about it. And now the cycle continues. The cycle goes round and round and round and round and round. What's the solution? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. In the first month, we give our clients affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Do they always do the affirmations? Sometimes. Some of my clients, when I check with them, during the third week, fourth week, I go, how's the affirmations coming? Are you still doing it? Oh, no, I've been too busy, right? Because it has to become a habit. Are you still doing the meditation? Oh, I can't really do the meditation, man, but we do the vocalization with them. Okay, the vocalization is the magic part. If you want to call it magic, it's not magic. It's a hormonal response. It's treating your brain naturally, holistically, instead of with medication. Okay. And yeah, thank you for reminding me, Jay. We do have a 1 hour special. $97 ends today. Today's the last day. $97 for an hour. In an hour, it's let's say it this way. It's like CrossFit for your voice, but it's CrossFit for your anxiety. It's CrossFit for your worry and overthinking. And it will pull you out. And after the hour, you will go, yeah, I see how this works. Okay? So for the TikTok audience, for you guys, that $97 will be taken out of the, if you want to do 4 half hours, we initially created four half hours, a 4 half hour special. And I have 2 left. Okay, we have 2 half hours left for our TikTok family. Okay, but if you do the $97, okay, TikTok, if you guys do the $97, what we do is we deduct that from the cost of the 4 half hour sessions. So you get a discount, plus you get 4 half hours in addition to that. So it's a great deal. It's a great deal. And all you need to do is go to the link in the bio. That link in the bio, that routine. Go to the link in the bio and fill out the form. And you can actually go on my calendar and book it all. Everything's automated, so you can go on the calendar and just book. Yeah, it will really help you. Let laughs. Yeah, so you purchase by go to the link in my bio and schedule. Or you can go to my message. You can go and message me and I can take it there. Okay. Jay does this with me, by the way. Jay can tell you how this works. Okay, and like you saw with Janice, it worked wonders for Janice. So excuse us on the other platforms. We have a chat going, but yeah, I'd be glad to help you. I would be happy to help you. Yep, you can go to the bio, click the link. Oh, thank you, Janice. Thank you. Yeah, it pulls you out of sadness. It pulls you out of worry. Pulls you out of grief. I've had people that have loved ones that pass away. They go through the vocalization process with me, and it's not like they don't miss them anymore. That's crazy, okay? It's not that. It's that it doesn't control them anymore. It breaks the bind. There's a bind like this that happens with negativity, with fear. You're bound to fear after a while. And that's where it starts to repeat after that, because it becomes a belief in your subconscious. But the vocalization separates you from it, and then it doesn't control you anymore. The triggers are very subtle, and they're controllable, because now you can push it on the side and move forward. It's all about push down, move forward, push down, move forward. That's the way I describe it to my clients. Okay, so I'm trying to look for anything we did not discuss yesterday. Tomorrow we'll continue with this, okay? Because anxiety is a thing now, and people are living in fear, but they're accepting it, and they're just, we make no medical claims, okay? I gotta say that. But they go to the industrial medical complex and just medicate. I see little kids getting medicated. I'm like, yeah. But little kids come to me, right? Parents bring them, right? Teenagers especially the 13-year-olds, okay? Because they're getting high and mighty, right? They're trying to flex their independence, okay? And they come to me and they get solid. And they start joining social clubs in school. They become more extroverted. Okay, their anxiety goes away because they're channeling their energy through their voice, because of oxytocin and endorphins that your neurotransmitters are secreting with the process, right? And they heal. Okay, and it's all in my book. You can see this. It's all in my book. Okay, and this is, like I said, this is not about learning how to sing. This is not about singing. This is about how your voice activates the vagus nerve. Look it up. Vagus nerve activation. Okay, it's a thing. And the way we do it, it's like vagus nerve activation on steroids. Because we do it with force, with velocity, air pressure. Okay, we do it loudly, strongly. Okay, so yesterday, you know that girl I was telling you about with the 1 hour thing, right? And she goes, wow, I like this. I want to do more. And I said, no, your muscles are in fatigue. Okay, good things bring in good things. Yeah, you know that's what Sarah was telling me. I don't think Sarah's here this morning, but Sarah is my client in the UK, and on Wednesday she was telling me, yeah, you know, like I try to think negative thoughts and I can't. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you've been conditioned now. First of all, you've been separated from the negativity. You've been pulled out. Okay, you've been liberated. Now you have seen the truth, and the truth has set you free. Because you can't see the truth when you're embroiled in negativity. You don't even know, like Janice said, you don't know that fear is running the show when you're anxious, when you have anxiety. Okay, anybody that has anxiety, I can pull you out. Okay, we have that $97 special. That's just for 1 hour. But in 1 hour, you will understand this thing. Okay, and then you can book for the hour program. Okay, and we can take the $97 off of that, and I have 2 half hours left for TikTok, and you guys can take the $97 off the 210. It's 210. It's $210 for 4 half-hour sessions, but you will be separated from your anxiety. Okay, so just look it up. Okay, it's vagus nerve activation. Okay, it affects your parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, and yeah, I don't make any medical claims, but tons of people just left their medicine because it was unnecessary, because the medicine is a band-aid. It's necessary because people don't know what's wrong. Okay, they're not motivated. They lose their motivation. Okay, they stay at home, they play video games, or sometimes just stay in bed, and it leads to depression. So all of these things are related, and all the negative emotions are rooted in fear. Okay, thank you, user. Yep, and if you need help, user, I'd be glad to help you too. So I know you're here every day, so at least you have knowledge of this. Okay, Farouk King. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Okay, so anyway, go to the link in the bio if you need help with this. This happens quickly. Yeah, this is not a thing you got to do for a year. This is a 12-week program, and in 12 weeks, different person. Read the reviews. We only get 5-star reviews. Here for You Life Coaching Honolulu. Check it out. We only have 5-star reviews, and there's some wonderful transformation stories there. So it's available for you guys right now. I don't have enough room on my calendar, so I haven't made it available to the other platforms that we're on. But we're on 7 platforms every morning from Honolulu, Hawaii. So right now it's only TikTok, but hey, coming soon for you other guys. Okay, I just gotta figure out how we're gonna make more time, and then we'll do a Facebook special. We have 2 Facebook pages right now that we're live on, and we have a YouTube page. We have Trovo in Europe. We're on Twitch. We're on tons of people. So anyway, but I have to go and see clients, and we have a huge storm in Hawaii. So if you're in Hawaii and you're experiencing the storm right now, please be safe. Please be careful. Okay, I love you guys.